What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Of course, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Dawson Wydrick.
You mother freaking gosh.
Dawson
You say good
Wydrick.
friend, then you butcher my last name.
That's it. And it's funny because you brought it up too on Dave's show. You're like, everyone jacks up my last name. But Dawson had a really cool thing happen just recently. He got to visit the set of Rebel Moon and meet Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder. And was it Wesley Collier? I think his name is. A whole bunch of people, Clay Enos. And so, Dawson, before we get to anything else, okay, let's talk about this trip because I mean, I remember the day I found out that you were in the top 10. And I called you like freaking out, and you were like, "Wait, what? What?" You had no idea.
I had no clue. I was taking a phone break that day, and your contact came up and was calling me, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" I figured it was like an update on Project Justice League or something. I was like, "Okay, let's see what's going on." Then you're just like, "Answer your phone. Look at your phone." I was like,
"Look at your phone." I was like, "You did it."
And I looked at the group chats that we're in, and it was like 50 notifications of people saying like, "Hey, Dawson, check your phone. Get on your phone. Gosh dang it." Of course, a little bit more explicit than that.
Right, exactly.
But it was wild. It was really crazy to get the notification. And in fact, I still have that tweet that Zach posted as like my Twitter banner. And that's
I saw that. And also too, like the image, your new profile picture is great, by the way.
All courtesy of Clay Enos.
Yeah, and that's even better too. Than knowing the fact that Clay Enos is the one that took that picture, it makes it that much sweeter. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at that. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up right now, and then we can kind of talk about some of the stuff that you experienced. Now, where exactly was this? Is this after the visit? Obviously, you got the clothes.
Yeah, this is the morning after the set tour. This is on the balcony of my hotel room at the London in West Hollywood.
Wow.
Where I had a good little view. Like the little thing to my right with the railings, that's where the pool was.
Oh, okay.
Super sick, super nice. And you look beyond that, there's a bunch of mansions that you can see on top of Beverly Hills and all the fancy.
So they put you like right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were all on the third floor of the hotel. And it was a really nice hotel. Like the nicest I've ever stayed in. I think it's like $500 a night to stay there. What's up, Tim?
On your left. Congrats, Dawson. Kevin O'Dog here was here earlier at 2:21 p.m. saying release the air cut, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well later on the show. What's up, Fear Jason? We got Ray up here in here as well.
What's up, Ray?
Venom Hernandez. What's up, Venom?
Man?
So they put you at a super nice hotel. Now you were saying the other night that not everybody had to fly in.
Yeah, most of the contest winners were from California. I think there was me, then Aaron, he's in North Carolina, and then another winner was from Minnesota, but he had lived in California for a long time, so he was basically a local. But yeah, we were by far the ones who traveled the most for this trip.
And so a lot of them actually lived in Los Angeles or in Southern California?
Yeah, in the general area. And so they only had like an Uber drive away from the location, which is ridiculous.
So they all just met up. You guys all met up at the hotel?
Yeah, so we all got there different times on Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning, we all met in the lobby when Netflix was picking us up. And they picked us up in one of those like massive vans that you can like stand all the way up in.
Oh, wow. It's like a party van.
Oh, yeah. And I had a massive TV. And in fact, after the tour or the set tour, one of the guys when we walked in was just like, would they be mad if we just turned on HBO Max on the screen instead of Netflix?
They might have. They might have been like, turn that shit off. And who knows? Yeah. But let's start from the beginning of the trip. Now, you mentioned that when you got picked up, that a driver came to pick you up to take you to the airport.
We had chauffeurs.
Like get yourself to the airport. Somebody came and got you.
Right. We had chauffeurs for the entire thing. I had person. In fact, it was the same driver who drove me to the Richmond airport and from the Richmond airport, which was kind of fun. But drove us to the airport. Then we went on our separate planes, and then we had a chauffeur from the airport to the hotel, then the van from the hotel to the set, then of course back to the hotel, then a chauffeur to LAX.
Wow.
It was really cool because again, like you said, that morning, Tuesday morning when he picked me up, the chauffeur, it was this fancy Cadillac, this guy in a suit standing in my driveway, just like kind of standing like a security guard, just waiting for me to come down. My neighbors at 2 a.m. were probably just like, why is there a freaking CIA agent outside? But it was really cool. I get in the car and it's like really soft orchestra music playing, like just super fancy, like stereotypical fancy restaurant scene in a movie type of stuff. And I'm just there in my, shirt and jeans, my Batman flat bill cap. And I'm just like, I don't fit into this vibe at all.
Hey, but you know what? You earned it though. It's like, based on your art, that's what got you there. And I think that's awesome, and
yeah.
So you get, after a couple different plane rides, I would imagine, you
Yeah.
get to LA, you get on so when you get off the plane, is there a guy waiting there with a sign saying Dawson?
It was like an iPad that said Weedrick. Yeah. So
wow. See, that's like you only see that in the movies, And again, you're living it in real life. That's awesome. The only time I've ever had that was when I went to Houston to see Ryan, and he had a sign inside of his car saying, "Marry me," to try and embarrass me. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Ryan would do that, honestly. That's such a Ryan move.
But that's really cool that it had your last name. He was waiting for you. Okay, so you go up to this guy, and what do you say?
Well, I just waved to him, let him know, like, hey, I'm Dawson. He's like, Mr. Weedrick? He's like, okay, sure. Because, the first guy that drove me from LAX, he was like African-American guy, older guy, super nice. And we just like talked sports the entire time. But yeah, he basically grabbed my bag, got me to the car, and then drove me to the hotel. And when we pull into the hotel, like this other guy that worked out front, like opened the car door, like in a suit, was like, Mr. Weedrick, I presume? And I was like, yes, I guess. No one's ever called me Mr. Weedrick before, but okay. And so they walked me up to the front of the hotel, and I checked in. And it was just so fancy because, like, I think they were thinking I was some important person that was just dressing casually. Because celebrities do that, they'll dress like super casually just because
like, you're somebody important, and so they're gonna treat you as such.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Okay, so they take you to the airport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, they take you to the hotel room, and so you get there, and like, when do you actually meet like the first art or the artists that were also arriving there? I mean, was Aaron there the same day? Okay, so the next morning.
Because I got to LA around noon, and Aaron didn't get in until about 9 p.m.
Okay.
He got in pretty late. And by the time he got there, I was already like dead tired. Because again, I'd been up since 2 a.m. Eastern time.
So 9 p.m. That was like midnight your time, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the time I'd been up for like 21 hours. So I was I was so tired.
Did he try to meet up with you, or you like, oh, I'm out?
Well, he got in at 9. And I was asleep by like 8:30. I tried to stay awake, so he said he was going to be there around 8. He ran a little behind, and so by the time he got there, I was already out like a light. So
what time did you actually get to the hotel?
I got to the hotel around like noon.
Oh wow, so he got there much later than you.
Yeah, he chose a later flight because they let us choose our times and which airlines we wanted to fly on. And I wanted to pick the early one because, again, I have some friends in LA that I wanted to meet up with. It didn't end up working out, but I just wanted some time, like extra time to myself.
I would do the same thing. I would pick the earliest flight to have the most time there.
Yes.
Even if that means I'm at the hotel, I don't care. Why not, right?
So I was one of the first people that flew in and one of the last people that flew out.
Right, okay. So you get there, go to bed, and the next morning you wake up, and that's when you actually meet the rest of the contestants who are just Ubering or let alone like walking to the location because they live so close by, right?
I mean, they stay at the hotel anyway, just because.
Oh, they did. See, I wasn't sure about that. I thought, if they lived nearby, they would just meet there.
Yeah, I mean, they lived a couple hours away, so like they stay in the hotel just because if Netflix is paying for it, then why the heck not?
Exactly.
But I ended up having breakfast with Aaron and meeting him for the first time before we met up with the other artists. We talked a little bit, figured out we lived like super close to each other. Actually, yeah, that was at breakfast at around 7 a.m. We ended up actually needing to like walk to a convenience store to get some stuff because the hotel didn't have the things we thought they were gonna have, and it started raining on us.
Oh, so it was raining! Wow.
Yeah, like one of the few times that it rains in LA, like ever.
Right.
And it was the day that we were there for the set tour. And it was pretty ridiculous. But anyway, got to meet Aaron, got to talk with him. Awesome guy, very genuine guy. I expected nothing less. And it was just really, really cool to meet him finally. What's up, Gillis?
Marcus Cruz writes, Dawson, how tall are you?
I am 6'5".
6'5". Jesus. I'm only I'm 5'7". So yeah, you tower over me.
You're the exact height of Zach.
Really?
Yep, he's about 5'7".
Oh wow. So that's awesome. So okay, so you go downstairs, you have breakfast with Aaron, which is awesome, and
Yeah.
then you kind of reconvene, and is that when you start seeing the other contestants who are staying there as well?
Yeah, we ended up meeting the other artists around 9:30, and we all gathered together, and a couple workers from Netflix got there, let us know how the day was going to go down, and we all got in the van, drove to the set, or I guess drove to the production lot that Netflix was using for Rebel Moon, and we ended up meeting in this one little office building where they gave us all of our stuff, like our merch, like the shirt and water bottles and hats and all of that, just in our own little individual Netflix bags. And then they just kind of broke down a little bit more, like how the day was going to work, what time we were going to meet Zach, lunch and everything. We all had like an email itinerary of that, but they just kind of conveying that to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, and Netflix, I can't say it enough. Netflix treated us like true VIPs. Like they really just went all out for us, because they told me, and this is shocking, they had never done anything like this before with a Netflix production, like ever. Like no art contests, no like set tours like this specifically.
Oh, of course. So, I mean, this is like uncharted territory for them.
Yeah, so it was very, very unique opportunity, which made me even more grateful. I mean, I was already grateful to begin with that I was selected to be able to go on this thing, but to be in such a unique situation as well just made it that much more special, honestly.
What is this? Should have pitched Dawson's Creek spinoff to Netflix. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to say a hard no on that one. I just grabbed my VIP pass that I had for the set visit.
Nice.
Yeah, it says Dawson Weedrick VIP verified, and good old Rebel Moon. Or there we go. So yeah, that was our pass for the day.
So you guys get in the van, you head down there, you go to this office, and where they tell you, what you're going to be doing, and then like when does like the fireworks start? Like all of a sudden they just say, okay, follow me, and then
so the excitement started almost right away. They walked us across the lot to another building. We go through some hallways, and all of a sudden, Debbie Snyder's right there.
Wow!
Like she's just right there with Wesley, and both Aaron and I see her. We were shocked to see her this early in the tour. We're like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And she like commented all of our work, asked us all where we were from, just talked to us very briefly. Then also kind of just ran down what she was going to be doing with us during the day, because she and Wesley were with us the entire day. I talked with Wesley quite a bit. I talked with Debbie quite a bit as well. Talked to her a little bit about Watchmen, which is really fun.
Wow.
Just about the whole production, about the different cuts of the movies, and she just loved working on that movie. So just the fact that
movie.
Oh yeah. And just the fact that we just got to hang out with them and just talk casually about what they love to do, and just, just talk about all sorts of different stuff is just really, really neat. And it just kind of shows that they're people that love what they do. And, they're, again, you love what they do, you love their work, but they're just genuine. I guess the best way I could say it. They're just very genuine people, which is awesome.
Okay, so they take you out, you meet Deborah and Wesley, and then what, you guys are kind of like talking with them or whatnot, and then they just go ahead.
Say they after they introduced themselves and talked to us for a brief moment, they took us into a viewing room to see some footage.
Wow. So you got to see actual footage of Rebel Moon. You're like one of the few people that got to see actual. Now, is it like a trailer? Was it a sizzle reel, or did you actually see a scene?
Sizzle reel.
Wow. And it was finished. Like finished, or I mean, are we talking like fully polished scenes, like clips of scenes, or are we talking like pre-production status?
I mean, it looked pretty official to me.
Like for instance, if you put that on YouTube right now, right? Like if Netflix posted that, people would watch the shit out of it. Like it would look legit.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Oh my god.
And Aaron and I sat next to each other during it. We were just looking at each other like we're actually seeing this. Like what you just pointed out, we were telling each other like very few people have seen this. One of the few people who have seen this in the world. So
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Everyone besides the production crew and maybe their close friends.
Yeah.
Dave Avery maybe. But I'm saying like that's insane.
In fact, I do think TPZ got to see that. I do think they did a little bit before.
Probably. Okay. So you got to see this cool footage. Now, was this just on like a tablet, or was it on a TV, or?
It was on an actual projection screen in like a viewing room.
Oh wow!
So like a small little theater with like comfortable chairs and.
So like, is this a room maybe where they watch some of the scenes that they've already filmed? Maybe who knows?
I'd imagine so. I mean,
this was just a studio that you were on, or was it a some kind of like official lot, or?
It was an office building for the movie,
right?
And
okay.
they had like a viewing room for it. Again, just different people in different parts of the production had offices there. It wasn't necessarily like the creatives' offices; it was more like the other people behind the scenes type of thing. So yeah, that's basically what went down there.
So then, so after you view that, then where do you go?
After that, we ended up. I'm trying to figure out if I should say this because it was such a cool moment. After that, we got to ask Deborah and Wesley some questions, talk back and forth about the movie production, questions we had about the story specifically, and they were just very open. Told us straight up, like.
So this is right after you saw the sizzle reel of the movie.
Yeah.
And then what? She was just like, well, what do you guys think? You have any questions? And then it kind of goes from there.
Yeah, pretty much. And we asked our questions one by one and got to talk about it a little bit. And then at the end, I'll exclude a specific word and replace it with stuff. Okay.
Okay.
At the end, she's like, you guys want to see some stuff? We're like, yeah. Yeah, we want to go see some stuff. That was probably the funnest part about it because she was so excited. Because here's the thing. I think I mentioned this on Dave's stream last night. They've been working on this production for like over a year.
Uh-huh.
And there's only so many people that can tell about it without, word getting out. And so now that people are on set, they're just so excited to tell these people like, hey, like we're doing this, this, and this. Like if you have these questions, we'll answer them as much as we can.
No, I can only imagine now. I mean, look, my example is on a much extremely smaller scale. But like working on Project Justice League, whenever I get to share like a scene, I'm like, dude, what do you think? And like,
yeah,
I've gotten feedback like, dude, I love it. It looks cool. And I'm like, but it's through like a DM or whatever. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean you really like it? Or are you just being nice? I need to know, like, how
I would say
really
it's the
feel?
exact same thing with them to a certain degree.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so you ask them some questions, they show you some stuff,
and
then what?
That's when we met Clay Enos. We go and see some things. Again, I'll replace a word. And Clay Enos just kind of appears. And was like, hey guys, how's it going? And so he takes a group photo of us in front of some things on the set. There's some photos that people haven't seen yet just because we haven't been able to like release them yet.
Well, I mean, like the things that we have seen already, like the ship. And inside, like, did you guys see that set?
Yes.
Were you inside that like the ship, the cockpit area?
Yes.
Oh my god!
I got pictures of myself in that cockpit.
I remember we were talking about it just the other day. I was like, you might actually go in that cockpit. You're like, yeah, I might. I don't know.
That I did.
I mean, like, I don't know, but like the scale of these sets, is it pretty mind blowing? I mean, like the amount that they have constructed there.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, there were some sets that we got to see, and they were kind of in the process of taking them down. So we saw a little bit of them. There were some that were fully put together, especially one where we saw like Zach working with, right, and actually, shooting some stuff. But yeah, we got to see like the aesthetic of everything, how everything's going to look as far as the technology and all of that, which I'm very excited to see just because, anyway. Yeah, we got to see, that video that Zach sent to Henry for the question with his interview, right?
Yeah.
I got to stand right there and record something very similar for myself.
Wow, that's fucking awesome. Okay, so you got to see Zach directing a scene?
Yes.
Wow.
We watched him work for a good, 2.5 hours.
Holy shit. I thought maybe you were there for 15 minutes. And they're like, all right, guys, let's move along. You guys they had chairs for you. You sat there and watched him do it?
Yep.
And that was it. Like, that was the show, basically. Like, you guys sat there.
We sat there in chairs and watched the monitor for it.
Oh, my. And did he acknowledge you guys' presence when he was doing that? Or was he just directing?
Oh, he was talking to us the entire time.
He was?
Oh, yeah. Like, he was going back and forth from, the set and then come back to us, talking with us. And how he first saw him was pretty funny. I'm going to exclude some details just because, again, I don't want to spoil anything. But we got onto the main set that they were shooting on, and Debbie was kind of looking for Zach. She's like, oh, Zach's be around here somewhere. And I was so surprised because I expected him just to see him at lunch, which they had it at 4 because that's, I guess, what their schedule lined up with. And then Zach just kind of walked out to us out of nowhere, and all of a sudden I found myself shaking his hand, and it just was so sudden.
Like he was just all of a sudden he was just there.
Yeah, he was just there. I was like, hey guys, how's it going?
And you were like,
And I wish I could say some other details because it makes the story so much cooler with how it happened. But yeah, he just appeared and was talking with us. And yeah, when he was working, he was talking with us the entire time, answering questions, pointing out some things. And he was just having a grand old time. It was really fun to see him in his element.
Wow. So, and think about this too. Like when Rebel Moon finally comes out and you get to see the movie, you're going to see the scene in which you were like, I was there when they filmed that. That's insane.
Yep.
And not only that, but I mean, to see the progression from how it looked on set to how it looks as a finished product, I think is going to be another thing that's just going to be mind blowing.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be, I'm going to like totally nerd out and just point out like, oh, I remember when they took that specific shot, and it's just going to really, in my opinion, it's going to enhance the viewing experience for me. Some people be worried like, oh, well, things going to spoil it for me, but no,
no way.
It's going to enhance it for me, honestly. It's going to make it more, what's the word I'm looking for? More of an encapsulating experience, just because, again, there's a connection there.
Well, yeah, because you were there. I mean, you watched it happen. I'm trying to find a certain image that was put out that same day. The one with the droids with the the flashlight eyes. I'm just saying that, but I'm trying to. I know you put it out too, right?
Yeah, Netflix gave all the artists that shot to share with people.
Where
just
is
a little fun little tease. And Aaron beat me to posting it by 5 minutes.
Yeah, he did. He was the first one. I was like, wow. So Aaron got a picture? I don't get it. Okay, so here is that image right here. Now, like, did you see these guys?
Not those guys, no. That must have been taken some other day.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty insane. I mean, I can't imagine their lights are on 24/7, but still, it's still a really cool shot. And this is just like a still image of them shooting a scene, not even like a finished product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that is where we were when we were watching it. That set.
Oh, so you were okay. So that's a pretty big set.
Decently, yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so you saw this same set. Not these guys in particular, but you saw this set.
Right.
That's awesome, man.
And that's as far as I'm going to go because I don't want to, like, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I saw that hallway.
And then real quick, I know Gillis is saying go Astros. Hey, Astros are a bunch of fucking cheaters, and I hope they lose. But if they win, they win. Hey, good on them. But
where's my I don't care clip?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care about baseball.
This is what I think about Houston Astros baseball.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
I just don't care about baseball, period, honestly.
I mean, I actually like baseball a lot, but I think Dawson is over-exaggerating the experience. Yeah, totally.
I wish that was true.
Now, last night when you guys were talking to Dave Pena, I know that Aaron said that you guys were walking out onto the set and that you saw Clay Enos just like on the set, and like he was just there. Yeah. And then he came over like, hey, how's it going?
He talked with us the entire day. I think me and Aaron had like full-blown conversations with them about a lot of different things on set. Like Aaron said last night, he knew everybody. He knew what their job was. What's up, Kareem? And he was so giddy to have people there to talk to. And he was so happy to like take pictures of everybody and like just tell us all the things that he could. It was like, I'm trying to figure out how best to explain it, but he was smiling the entire time.
Wow.
He was just so happy to talk to other people and see other people on set. And he even talked about like lately, yes, he's been required more on the set, but there's some days where he's only needed for a couple of things. He just hangs out there just because he loves it.
I mean, why not?
People.
Why not?
That whole team, I mean, we all know how Zach works. He has a group of people that he works with consistently, with each movie, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's such a family, and it's just really cool to see that. I mean, we got to just witness them just interacting with each other and just joking around and having a good time while also getting stuff done and making awesome art. It was just really cool.
So you got to watch him for 2.5 hours, essentially interact with him, talk with him,
Mm-hmm.
and then okay, so that alone is a lot. I
Yeah.
would say even seeing the sizzle reel is a lot, and then
Yes.
it just kept going.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you can say it or not, but like who was on set, like who was in the scenes that you were watching? Was there anybody that
I think I can say
I don't
this
even know.
because
Yeah, because I don't even know I don't know what's happening in the scene. So I mean,
right. So we were watching him work, and Sophia comes on set.
wow.
Yeah. So that was really cool because that's like one celebrity. And there's a lot of celebrities that I don't feel like I'd ever meet, but that was also one of them. Like I figured there's no way I'd be in a situation where I'd ever see Sophia Boutella in person.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
ever.
So she comes on set, and then Axel's on Film Junkie Stream. What a loser. Karam says, being there on set with Zach and seeing how he works and even explain things like a teacher is better than any film school. Yes, I would agree wholeheartedly. I would agree.
Absolutely. It was, I mean, again, we didn't see like all like the technical stuff, but like just to see how he operates and how he like communicates with everybody that's involved with shooting a scene was just, it was really enlightening to just see how much goes into a day of production on something like this, and how talented you have to be and how knowledgeable you have to be in so many departments in order to be as involved as Zach is. I mean, I don't think people quite understand just how involved Zach is with, you know, like visuals, camera work. He talks with all the artists. Like he's just very much an involved director. And that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of know-how, and it takes a lot of creative juices.
I mean, and like you're seeing him in like his most, I would say his element.
Oh,
his most natural element. And so, and that God, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, man. Okay, so you get to watch that for about 2.5 hours or whatnot, and then what's next?
After that, we went to have lunch, and at lunch, I think Aaron mentioned this yesterday. They just had these boards with all of our art pieces on there, like those exact boards. They had them around the lunch tables where all the people of the cast and crew were, just as a little surprise to kind of show the art off to everybody. And they just had all these like food selections. It was really posh. It was amazing. Just like, anyway, just so many selections, and we were just very hungry because it was a long day. Because we were walking around all day, and we were there a lot longer than we ever expected to be. And so this room is actually back where we first met at the beginning of the day, and we ended up going back there for lunch. They brought these boards in here to this room. This is the room where we had lunch with Zach, and we asked him questions, talked some more with Debbie and Wesley. This is also the same room where we met Sophia Boutella.
Wow.
She like came in surprisingly, like she wasn't like, I don't think they asked her to come or anything, but she just kind of walked in and said hi to us. And she even pointed to my piece and looked at the words and said, "Oh, what's this mean? What does this say?" And so I explained it a little bit. And she looked at me and was like, that's pretty interesting. I like that. It's like, yes.
Oh my God. That's so great. Now, I noticed that there's only 9 artists here.
Yeah.
So which art piece goes to the artist that wasn't there?
I believe it was the really dark one on the bottom left.
So down this one.
I believe so. Yeah. I believe that artist was traveling abroad. I think they were in like South Africa or something and couldn't quite change their schedule.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
I just say it's unfortunate. I mean, he's got to travel. I mean, that's great.
Right.
Man, that's just so wild, man.
And all these guys were super awesome. The guy on the far right is the one who won the grand prize and got to tour Justin's special effects and makeup studio.
So
and
this guy right here.
Yep, I believe his name's Gabriel. Yeah, really nice guy.
He did this one.
Yeah, and when we first got there, he showed us pictures of things that he took, like pictures he took of the studio tour that he got, which is really cool. So we saw a lot of things with a lot of different movies that he was able to interact with and touch. Actually, he got to touch a lot of props from a lot of different things.
Like what movies? I mean,
I believe we saw stuff from Aquaman.
Oh wow.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what other stuff he saw. That's the main one that stood out to me, but there's a couple others that if he said it, I'd remember it and remember exactly what he's talking about. But what's up, Sean? What's up, my man?
Man, that is so crazy. Okay, so they take you over here. This is where you guys went like to lunch, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then they had these set up, which was awesome. And then did they put these on there, or is that
that artist put that on there?
Oh, he did put that on there. Okay.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing over here too. Okay, so I wasn't sure about that. So you guys have, what did you have for lunch?
I had chicken cordon bleu, a Caesar salad, and some animal fries.
So wait, like, are you at a restaurant, or is it just catered at the studio?
It was catered. There were several caterers that were there with different options.
Wow.
And it was very posh, very awesome.
Okay, so then you guys are eating, and then all of a sudden, what? Zach just like walks in.
Yeah, so we knew we were gonna have lunch with Zach, and so we all go and eat, and Zach was still like working on a shot, and then we finish eating, and Zach comes in, and he starts eating. We try to like pace our questions so he could actually get some food inside him.
Right.
And so we started asking questions and talking with him. I got to give him the sticky note. Well, actually, I gave it to Debbie earlier in the day, and I told him like, "Hey, Debbie's got something for you guys." She pulls it out, and of course, it's the SnyderCon logo that I had drawn. Yep. And so she gives it to him. He looks at it and he's like, "Is that really on a sticky note?" And he like was like looking at it and like observing. He's like, "That's awesome." And every now and then he'd like, kind of like fidget with it on his table and be like, point it back to him, and be like, "That's so cool." And I asked him to hold it for the picture, and he did so graciously. And this is really cool. It's something simple, but it was just really cool. After we took this picture, Zach shook my hand and looked. He's like, "I appreciate it, brother. You're awesome." And it was just really cool. It was such a surreal moment.
Oh God, it's so crazy.
It was such a surreal moment, man.
It's like, this is a guy that we've talked about for like fucking how many years now? Yeah. And then there he is, like in the flesh, right there next to you,
holding my artwork,
holding your artwork, and then shaking your hand as well. I mean, it's incredible. But then when you look over at Aaron Bailey, why was he so far away?
I don't really know, actually.
Was he the first one to take a picture with him?
I think he was.
So maybe he was like, I don't know. When I saw it, I was like, why is he so far away? I mean, like, when you go back to your
plus,
picture,
like, they're full height, and so like their shoulders
you're like
are right
nuzzled
there.
up, right? He's like right up on you, I was like, yeah.
I mean, I'm taller, so my shoulder's above his, so like I just had to like reach down, he had to reach across. Like, whereas if you have equal like height shoulders, it's kind of hard to do that and be close. So,
oh my God, dude, that's so cool. Okay, now at lunch, you said you got a chance to ask him a question about BBS, right? So, what was that question?
It was a question I've always wanted to ask him, like ever since even the mere possibility of having him on a stream was a thing, right? I thought of this question. It was the crypt scene, where Bruce goes to his parents' crypt in a dream, and there's a stained glass window inside the crypt where there's like a knight in shining armor hovering above a burning city.
Yeah.
And then a few moments later, you see the man-bat creature attack Bruce. I always interpreted that as, and I explained this to him, as the stained glass window representing what Bruce sees himself as, and the man-bat creature representing what he has become and the bitterness that has consumed him. And I explained that. He's like, "Oh, it's an interesting theory. I like that." But what I was going more for is that knight in shining armor was supposed to represent Superman, and how Bruce kind of sees him as like the shining being above chaos. And then the man-bat, like you kind of said, was supposed to represent Bruce's inner darkness. And honestly, we got to hear Zach talk about, a little bit of how he approached DC. And
really,
yeah, so like, it was a little bit after lunch. This kind of jumping the gun, but I think it applies. He talked about how, someone asked him about like with the Batman scenes and stuff like that, and he said, a lot of people try to say that like I was just trying to fit these characters into a specific box, but these are always how I've seen the characters. Ever since I read them in the comics, I've always seen them in the way that I presented them in my movies. And so that was really cool to kind of see his take there. And he even said at one point that he said the most realistic movie I've ever made is about a man who can fly. And that's Man of Steel.
That, my God. I mean, just to hear him talk, you know what I mean? Just like, holy shit. And it sounds, anyone listening to this now is like, what are you guys talking about here? But no, I mean, I was like, I got a chance to be on a stream with him. And even then, I was so starstruck and afraid to ask a question. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be that guy who asks a dumbass question. But I mean, what were some of the other questions that the other contestants asked?
Just about the inspiration for the movie, kind of how the story had developed from being a concept for Star Wars and how it came to be what it is. Also about like, what were some of the questions that were asked? Basically, a lot more along the same vein. Aaron asked about the lenses for the movie, and he got to talk a little bit about that last night. And a lot of it just kind of stuck in that general area. We all kind of avoided the topic of DC, just because like we're on the set of this movie, right?
Exactly.
They've been working on this for a while, and we obviously wanted to know as much as we could about this movie. And I just think that was a smart move. And
well, it's a smart move, and it's respectful at that. I mean,
exactly. I mean, they invited us on the set, so let's talk about the
exactly.
movie whose set we are on, right?
Well, it's not only that, but I mean, this is what he's pouring his heart and soul into. This is his passion.
Right.
This is what he's doing. And, you know, the concept that, you know, he's doing this Rebel Moon and Netflix projects, but, you know, really he wants to get back to DC. Now, he's doing this because he wants to, he's passionate about what he's doing. And so,
very much so.
I'm glad to hear that nobody was like, are you going to come back and do Zack Snyder Justice League Part 2? No, it should have, and it was all about Rebel Moon and what he was doing now.
And Debbie even kind of repeated a sentiment she's expressed on streams before, talking about just how open Netflix has been to what they've wanted to do with their stories.
Yes.
And how that's been just such a breath of fresh air for them. And that was really cool to hear her kind of explain that, and how she said that other studios would be like, oh, well, let's make sure that this movie's successful first before we even think about, you know, expanding it. Whereas Netflix is just like, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but like, go for it. Like,
do it. Yeah.
Like, impress us. See what you can do. And impress all of us is what I definitely think Rebel Moon is going to do.
Wow. So after you had lunch there, then what happened?
For a couple minutes, Zach kind of hung around. They brought churros. Zach got really excited about churros. Really excited. And that's when Sophia walked in full like set makeup. I can't exactly say what she like looked like and all that stuff. But she came in, talked to us briefly. I got a selfie with her. Aaron did not, and I'll always hold it over his head. But we talked to her very briefly, and I wasn't sure how long she was going to be there, so I kind of didn't want to like overwhelm Sophia, because she already had like 4 of the guys around her like talking to her. And Zach was sitting on the couch like off to the right of this picture, and there was like 2 other guys there. So I went and talked to them a little bit. That's when we kind of briefly talked about Frank Miller's comic book work and how the different stories we like. Talked about Dark Knight Returns. Now it's always been a passion project of his, wanting to actually, you know, adapt that to live action. That's when he talked about Man of Steel being his most realistic movie, because I believe the guy next to Gabriel, the second to last guy on the right, he asked him about the lack of slow motion shots in Man of Steel. And so that's what Zach was kind of talking about, is like, yeah, I wanted to approach Man of Steel in a more realistic way than anything I'd ever done, just kind of make Superman in a realistic world. And that's what he said, oh, Man of Steel is my most realistic movie. So we talked to him for a little bit. Then he had to go. We said goodbye to him. And Sophia had to go quickly too, which also stinks, because I thought that like Sophia was going to leave, and so she didn't leave. And so I was talking to Zach about the time I turned around to go and talk to Sophia a little bit. She was already walking out. I was like, dang it. But at that point, we were just back with all of our stuff. We had to turn in these Samsung phones we used to take footage and photographs of everything, just because so they could monitor it and make sure we didn't post anything. And they'll email us the footage and photographs we took after the movie comes, or I guess whatever time they see fit, so that we can post on our own channels, put on social media, kind of about our experience, about the whole thing.
Damn, man, that's fucking crazy. I can't believe that.
We did not expect for them to go as all out on this thing as they did. Aaron and I both expected to be on the set for maybe 2 or 3 hours at most. We did not expect the full 10 to 5 p.m. experience like we got at all. But that's exactly what we got. 7 full hours on set, walking around, seeing everything, every department we could see, we got to see. Like, we got to see how all the costumes look like. We got to see how all the technology looks, all the weapons, like everything.
Oh
like,
my
God.
That's
explain
so
all the
awesome.
heads
That's
of the
so
departments.
Awesome.
Explain about every single head of the department, how each things work. Like, when we saw the props, the guy walked us through like every little thing. Explained what inspired them, what they made them out of, their application in the movie, how they're supposed to work in the world of Rebel Moon. Like, we got the whole 9 yards, man.
Wow. That's crazy. And that's the thing too, is that, you know, like, they're putting a lot into this production. It's not just like a, we're just filming this for fun. I mean, this is a full on, big budget project production that they're working on.
It's a lot of work they're putting into this thing because it's, again, without saying anything, there's a lot more to Rebel Moon than I think people are expecting. Like, people expect it to be good, people expect it to be exciting, but there's so much more to this Rebel Moon universe than people are ready for.
Right.
Like, it astonished me how much there was.
Wow, dude.
It's
this is gonna be so badass.
I can't wait for like the behind the scenes book for this thing. I just cannot wait for it.
Okay, so Karam has a question. He says, so bringing a DSLR wouldn't be a good idea because that was my plan.
Probably not a good idea. They would not be open to that. They did a great job making sure that everything was kept under wraps. They made sure that we didn't like actually record anything when they were actually shooting on the set. Yeah, they did a very good job at monitoring that, which nobody really tried to, but they were very good about handling that.
And then, okay, so when it came to your picture, did you get a chance to talk to him at all about your image, your drawing?
Not as much as maybe I'd like. He like commented the work, said it was all really great and very inspirational. I didn't get to explain it much to him. I explained it briefly to Sophia just because she asked about it.
Yeah.
But not quite to Zach, unfortunately. But again, he was very, very busy, and the amount of time he took out for us anyway was extremely generous. I mean, we got like 15, 20 minutes with him when we were really only supposed to get like 5 or 10.
Right. So, I mean, like, look, obviously, you drew all this.
Yeah.
The guy who won first place, I mean, that looks like a real freaking robot.
It was it was a phenomenal design, like really fantastic. Blew me away, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw this, I was like, dude, did he like actually sculpt that and take a picture? I was like, how did he do that?
I actually should have asked about that. I don't think it was an actual sculpt. I think it was 3D sculpting. I think it's more of what he does. I know he's an aspiring filmmaker.
Right.
So I think he's going to film school right now. He's just a very creative guy. Very, very nice and very humble guy, for sure.
I mean, all these images are amazing. This one, too. This one's badass.
Yeah, the guy right above there, that's the guy that designed that one. He was
here?
hilarious, actually. We all had dinner together as artists at the hotel afterwards. And the guy to Zach's right in that picture with the beard, he was kind of joking around like, oh, man, we got to like talk with Sophia Boutella today. And the guy on Zach's left was like, well, F you. I had lunch with Zack Snyder. So we all died. It was funnier in the moment, but like,
really totally. Let me see. There was another image I wanted to ask you about. Let me see. Where is it at? Hold on. If I can find it. It was you guys at a like round table taking a picture together.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
And it should be on Aaron's page, I believe. Or
was it on Aaron's or was it on yours?
It should be Aaron's. I think I retweeted it, but it was Aaron's tweet initially.
All right, let me see if I can just find it because I'm already on yours. But where was that at?
That was in the lobby of the hotel.
Okay.
That was like the hotel's restaurant.
And that was that night?
Yeah, that was like 2 hours after we got back. We all like kind of decompressed. And then we all had like steak dinner and all that, all on Netflix's dime, which is really awesome. We got like $250 per diem from Netflix for the 2 days.
Wow.
I mean, the food there is expensive, so I used up about 236 of those dollars in food.
And it's all like on a voucher or something?
Yeah. And so like, we gave them our debit cards for like collateral just in case we went over. But when I checked out, I'm like, oh, you only had $14 left, so you stayed under. Good job. So you don't owe us anything. It's like, sweet.
Wow. This sounds like it was like an amazing experience.
It really was. It's by far the most rich I'll ever feel, honestly.
That's crazy, man.
Just because, like, the hotel was amazing. Like, I got room service. I mean, the first night I was there, before the artist got there, I ordered in dinner to my room.
That's awesome.
It was steak with, like, this green sauce, onion rings, and, like, a like spinach salad with avocado. Like, super good.
But not only that, though, it essentially it was for free. So it always tastes better when it's free.
The flights were free. The
yeah.
chauffeurs are free. The food is free. The hotel was free. It was so nice. I barely spent any money on this, and that was the best part. Well, not the best part, but like that's definitely an added bonus.
This is by far one of your best drawings you've ever done.
Oh,
I mean, like you have a lot of good ones, but like this one, this one's really good. And
I appreciate it.
The fact that it got you all the way there is just, it's so awesome and badass.
Yeah,
here's Ryan. He's laughing now. Okay.
Oh, it's and this print for all those watching is available on the website. So if you want to check it out, it's there as far as like art prints, posters, also canvas prints as well. So if you want to check that out, check out my website, Linktree, my bio of Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. But yeah, no, it's funny because again, I mentioned before and I'll mention it again, I wasn't going to enter this contest initially. I saw about the contest and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I never have really good experiences with it. So, but then a couple different people told me like, hey, you should sign up for it. It's like, okay, fine. And it was kind of crazy how it all happened. All of a sudden I had this picture in my head of a alien samurai. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do, which never happens, right? You never know exactly what you want to do on your first try.
Right. And
so I knew I wanted a taller, sort of like double-ankled alien creature with the sort of facial structure that he had. And I knew I wanted some robotic arms to like give it a sort of sci-fi feel. I knew I wanted it to be samurai because the 7 samurai. And it all just came together incredibly well. I think I did this in a span of about 4 hours.
Wow. 4 hours of your day granted you an entire 2 days worth of awesomeness. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, it's hardly any art piece comes together that quickly, honestly.
Right?
It doesn't ever happen like that, but it was awesome. Creative juices are flowing. It was meant to be, man. Meant to be.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so awesome. So we'll do congratulations on your not only getting in the top 10, but going to see, the set of Rebel Moon, being able to meet Zack Snyder and Sofia Boutella and Debbie Snyder. And so the whole time Debbie was there through all of that.
The entire time. Even when we were watching Zach work, she like sat behind us and was like talking with us and with the other people there. Like she was just hanging out,
So crazy, man. That's just like, wow. Holy
And she's
cow.
such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart.
Right. No, totally. I mean, gosh, what an experience to go through. You know what I mean? Like, that's so awesome. I can't even explain. Like, dude, I'm so thrilled that you got to do it. And I can't wait till you get your phone or the images from the phone, that is, and video. That's going to be even crazier.
There's going to be a couple photos specifically that you all are totally going to make memes of when it comes to a picture of me. Like, it's bound to happen, and it happened completely by chance. You'll know exactly which photos I'm talking about when I release them.
All right. Well, I look forward to that. So, like I said again, congratulations, dude. That's freaking unbelievable. Unbelievable, dude. I can't even imagine. I would have been like pissing my pants the entire time. I'm so excited.
Well, Aaron and I said to each other like 50 different or 150 different times, like, this is crazy. I can't believe we're here. And there's a popular phrase, never meet your heroes. And for a lot of people, that's true. But in this case, like, these are people that I look up to creatively, and they did not disappoint as far as how open they were, how inviting and nice and just conversational they were. It was the best experience I feel like you could have with meeting people you admire.
Yeah, I mean, and this was at like the most ultimate level at that.
Yeah,
it wasn't like you got to see them, say hello and leave. It's like you experienced like an entire day with them, which is like, that's just an incredible. I couldn't even imagine.
I even got to ask Zach briefly about the Norse mythology animated show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very briefly. I got to talk to him about it just because my older brother's really into Norse lore. And
did he answer the question, or he say I can't talk about it?
He did answer my question.
Okay, right on.
I don't really know if I'm allowed to say exactly what he said. But I told him oh, my brother's really excited about that because he's really into Thor myth or Norse mythology. And then he responded to that by just kind of explaining what it's going to be like. And it was really neat. I got to my brother that I asked him that question. He's like, "Oh, it's super cool."
That's freaking awesome, dude. My God. Well, like I said, congratulations, man. I mean, that's an achievement in its own, man.
Yeah.
So to deviate off of this real quick, we are going to touch on the hashtag release the Ayer cut trending event that happened today. And the last I saw, I was trying to find the numbers right now, but last I saw, it was at 214,000 tweets, which is really, really good. I want to say, didn't we get closer to 500 the last time one of these happened, but still, that's really cool though. You know, I believe now it's probably closer to 215.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. And then the Ayer cut account dropped a video of a scene that we haven't seen yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up right now.
Yeah.
I get taken down, probably watch.
And I think my first tweet about release the Ayer cut today got 1,000 likes and 400 retweets.
Really? That's awesome.
The only tweet that's ever happened with that for me is when my picture was Zach. So that was really random. Yeah, I posted Boss Logic's release the Ayer cut poster. And
it just hit right at the right time.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so this is, can you hear that?
Yep.
So this is the Ayer cut. Let's start it over again.
Yeah.
So those guys get shot. There's a guy with the needle head or the pinhead or the blow, whatever it is. He gets shot down. I mean, this is a gunfight we only saw a fraction of.
Yep.
The Zack Snyder cameo.
And the score in the background too.
Yeah, that's the actual score. I think his name William Price did that. I could be wrong on his name. Yeah, it's Price. He's
and
beating the
you
crap
see
out of that
Joker in the background, freak.
guy. And this is what we saw in the actual theatrical cut.
Oh, so jumbled.
It's so jumbled. Again, and this is the real one.
I mean, you look at the theatrical cut edit, yeah, you look at the theatrical cut edit, it's things are placed out of order too.
It's like a full-on scene. Look at it. Now he more violent as well.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was really cool that they did a comparison even, you know, someone went ahead and even did this. I mean, that was really cool. And, you know, again, another glimpse into what the Ayer cut was supposed to be like. And you can hear the actual score from the original score of the movie, which is really awesome. So it's crazy. And, you know, all day long, everyone's been tweeting it out. You know, people have been asking, you know, Warner Bros. Discovery to release the Ayer cut. You know, we know that James Gunn is the co-CEO now. Is there a chance that he does it? I think so, but who knows?
I mean, he even tweeted out saying he'd like to see it if it was up to Warner Bros. Or if Warner Bros. Discovery were to do it. And now it's in his hands.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, I don't see why not. And another thing about that clip, too, is that it just goes to show the main issue with Suicide Squad not only was the fact they cut out so much of the story, was the editing. The editing was so jarring, and you saw a perfect example of that in that comparison.
Yeah, it was just all jumbled up, you know, and it's crazy to think that, and I want to say that this was put out there that he did not have control of his final edit,
right?
You know, and so that's insane that they would do that.
Well, and also it's funny because I tweeted out, released the Ayer cut today, and there was somebody who commented saying, David Ayer could have said no about the changes they made to his movie. Did another director get put in there? I don't think so. It's you do realize that as a director, you don't have a lot of times full control. A producer or an executive producer or a studio.
If your bosses are telling you,
right,
this is what we're going to do, you know what I mean? Then you're like, okay.
And it's not
what choice do I have?
If David Ayer was Christopher Nolan, it'd be a different story. Christopher Nolan can tell people no. He can
Yes.
do that just because he's Christopher Nolan. David Ayer, although he's made great movies, he's not quite that level to where he can just do whatever he wants, right? And also, he doesn't like to rock the boat, and so he wasn't going to like tell them no, but also they just kind of took control of it from him. And a lot of people just don't realize how much power these executives, if they want to ruin your movie, can have.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
They can completely change your product, and it's not yours anymore, even though your name's still attached to it.
And then, it just knowing that the film is out there, and knowing that obviously it has a different tone, a different feel, a different score, a whole bunch of different scenes. It just I hope one day that they do release the Ayer cut, because I want to see it. I mean, it would only make sense to put it out there so that so that Zack Snyder Justice League has its a sort of companion movie, which is the Ayer cut,
Yeah.
and so you can truly watch Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, because that was
Yeah.
still, and then the Ayer cut and Zack Snyder Justice League, and that would be like a complete part of the story that we originally didn't have, especially when it came to Suicide Squad and Justice League.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a partially completed saga, which, I mean, honestly, at this point, that's what DC fans want. They want something that feels like a complete narrative, a complete arc of a couple of different movies with development of characters. I'm echoing what everybody else wanted to say. Like, I want to see what Jared Leto did in David Ayer's version. I want to see his Joker fully fleshed out, and actually the way that David Ayer wanted to go about it. Because, again, he's talked about how he based both Rick Flag and Jared Leto's Joker on different aspects of his own personal life. Rick Flag, of course, being the military aspect of his life, and Jared Leto being more the crime part of his life, where he, was involved with some bad eggs. And so I want to see how personal a story that is, and how he just made Joker his own. I want to see
definitely. And we should all be able to have the opportunity to see that. And so I hope that Warner Bros. Discovery, James Gunn, Peter Safran, that they make that happen. We'll see how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's up to them. I'm sure they don't want anything to really get in the way of the universe that they're trying to construct. Because here's the thing: if you put something else, if you put out like the Ayer cut, right? Now you have a group of fans saying, "I want more of this story," right? So then it's kind of a double-edged sword. And so I'm assuming they're weighing out, like, okay, do we do it or not? Who knows?
Right.
But today was supposed to be the day that he gets to show the movie to Warner Brothers Discovery. But then earlier today, I think he put out a tweet that he was in England. He was over in England, so maybe it happened over there. I don't know. But still, I hope.
See, I didn't know that was happening. I just figured it was a kind of date that was.
Well, the word is that today was a day that he gets to show his cut to Warner Bros. Executives to try and pitch his movie, his cut.
Oh, okay,
so
that makes a lot more sense now.
Right. That's why everyone's saying, "Hey, you got support it, tweet it out, show support." Because he's got a lot going on. If it's not happening today, it's happening very soon. I know that, but
yeah.
So that does all pan out. Hey, I hope they do it, because I want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you want to, on the flip side of it, if you want to change your image, and you want to become a studio that creatives go to, because they're in favor of creatives,
then an actual director-driven studio, as they've claimed to be for years.
They should release it and at least portray themselves as such.
Because again, it's not going to cost as much as Zack Snyder's Justice League was to complete, because Zack Snyder's Justice League required a little bit more footage. David Ayer's Suicide Squad, as he has stated, only requires some VFX work, and that is literally it. And while yes, VFX work is pricey, it's not nearly as much as actually bringing in actors, taking new footage. And I mean, at that point, if it's just that much, just put it on HBO Max, have a limited physical release. I would really be surprised they even did a limited theatrical release. I'd be
Probably
shocked,
not.
actually.
I would imagine going straight to HBO Max and using it as a way to lure in more subscribers. But then again, they're talking about
that.
Well, but then they're talking about combining HBO Max with Discovery Plus, which, I mean, at that point, you would just transfer the subscribers over, I would imagine. But
I mean, you could have that be one of the initial releases on the combined platform. That could be a good promotional technique if you want to do that.
Definitely. Obviously, I think for the general audience, a lot of them wouldn't know what that is. But to the hardcore fans like us, we would know, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
But yeah, hashtag release the haircut, and I hope that we get a chance to see this movie. Well, dude, Dawson, thank you for coming on here and talking to me about your experience. It sounds like, dude, I would give anything to get that experience, to do what you did. That is just so awesome.
Easily the peak of my artistic career, if you will, up to this point. Again, just being able to meet people I've looked up to creatively for years and to just see how that side of entertainment works and to be treated as amazingly as we were was just a very complete experience. I mean, again, they treated us like a VIP, like not even holding back. They didn't just treat us like some people that came to set and were being shown or given a few gimmicks and then asked to leave. They treated us like we belonged there, which was amazing. Again, I can't thank Netflix enough for the experience.
Well, dude, I hope you get to go back, even though you're not going to. That'd be so awesome, man.
I mean, if they end up using the characters in some form of fashion in the Rebel Moon universe, I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not keeping my hopes up about it, but if something happens, keep your fingers crossed for me, fellas.
There you go, man. There you go. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you're always notified of any new content the channel puts out. Subscribe to Dawson or the Four Nerds Network as he is the captain of the ship over there. And yeah, man, fucking this is crazy. You got like the ultimate vacation.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a very quick vacation, very much like a 48-hour experience, but again, it was fantastic. And there will be an extensive video about my experience on the Four Nerds Network when I am given the go-ahead from Netflix and given back my footage. Thanks so much, Kareem. But definitely look out for that. Once Rebel Moon comes out and I'm given the green light, I'll be sure to let you guys know, like, hey, it's happening. I'm putting the footage together because not only did I get to get footage and photos, they had a cameraman follow us around the entire day and capture footage for us.
Oh, wow.
That also sent us that footage too. So there will be some amazing things shown in that video. And I'm very excited for you guys to see what I witnessed.
That is going to be so incredible to see, just to see all that.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
You'll get to see my dumb face and how astonished I was the entire day.
Oh my gosh. And then as soon as we end, I'm going to show you something as well. So make sure you stick
around.
Whoa,
I'm not into that, Andre. I'm not into
that. All right, you guys. That's going to do it for the show. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member, and join the Patreon. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace!